The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 23rd day of May 2024. It's Bermuda Day Eve. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lenders, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. And Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Bermuda Day Eve, Larry Marshall Jr.
Hey, yeah, it's always a good time. Just, we're able to celebrate Bermuda. It's just a feel-good feeling.
Well, I just want to say, though I'm not participating in the race again this year, I'm looking forward to watching it. And yeah, we'll discuss a bit later, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think I want to see. Whenever something's new, I'm intrigued. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it ends on Court Street.
Yeah. The race course is different. And at the end of the day, the race is the race, no matter which way it goes. I just know runners would prefer something a bit different, but you have to run. Everyone has to run the same course. So
Yeah. And the parade, they released the schedule, and I know the minister said yesterday that there were going to be some surprises as far as Gombe troop wanting to be placed in a certain place, and I forget the name. Is it SMS Gombe is going to be very early in the parade, right after I believe the regiment and them. So very interesting lineup, and as the minister said, is the most we've had in 10 years as far as participants in the parade. So looking forward to that. Sinclair Packwood Memorial, that's what it's called, right?
yes,
exactly. Yeah. The bike race should be a fast one. Is it Dominic Mayo? Do you know if he's participating?
I know that he missed one race in the last few weeks, but I'm not sure if he's on island to participate for this one.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. Happy Bermuda Day Eve, audience. Happy Bermuda Day Eve. And Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Bermuda Day Eve, Jamel, Larry, and Maya. Yes, and an awesome Bermuda Day Eve to you as well. And greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Dr. Amani Flood on from NMAC for another segment of Ask the Doctor. We're discussing how we can better monitor our sugar levels. And, as we get into summer, what they call that, Bermuda picnic drink or something, punch or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how we put all the sugar and the ginger beer and all that in there. You all got to be careful. And then, how many what those things called? Sides, what they call them? Carbs. We're gonna have in our plates every type of potato, potato salad. Let's be clear. Let's be real. Before we even bring the doctor on, I'm not a doctor or an expert, but folks, potato salad ain't a salad like you think. It's not like greens. It's like we have to have that conversation. You talking about, your doctor says, so have you been eating any salads, anything healthy? Yeah, I eat potato salad every day during the summer. That's that. Come on now.
Yeah, potato salad, tuna salad, macaroni salad, all those things. Yeah.
That's not what your doctor's talking about, folks. All right. So don't be that person. Potato salad is not the salad. They're talking about greens. And don't try to say you have green peas in your potato salad, because that still doesn't change it. All right. So We're going to have that conversation. The Daily Play is a Name That Place today. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Let's jump right into it. So yesterday, there was a by-election in constituency 10. I believe that's the constituency that Larry resides in. Suzanne Ingham, who said she resides in that constituency. The victor was, again, apologies for not remembering his first name yesterday. The victor was a new member of parliament, Robert King, who replaces the outgoing former premier, the Honorable Michael Dunkley. Now, let's jump right into the question. What are your thoughts on the by-election results? What about those results? How does that make you feel about where Bermuda is and where Bermuda's heading? But also, answer this question, because to me, I thought Lindsay had a chance. Let me tell you why I thought she had a chance of winning it. Because I bought into what, and I'm going to call him out because I said it on Twitter. I kind of bought into what Jonathan Starlin was selling on Twitter, right? I don't know why, because I feel like he has a bias, right? And it's okay to have bias. We are who we are. We're human beings. It's okay to have bias. But I say that because he kept thinking, oh, Sir John's going to split the vote. I'm not quite sure the PLP or anyone had Senator Lindsay Simmons, finishing dead last. So that said, should the PLP be concerned by last night's result? Yes or no? Just a quick yes or no. Should the PLP be concerned by last night's result? What are your thoughts? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay. Larry says no. Should the PLP be concerned by last night's results? Malachi Troy, he says, yup. All right. What are your thoughts, audience? Again, we're discussing what are your thoughts on the by-election results, but also should the PLP be concerned? WKD Lama says no. Hadeline Swan says yes. Angeline Butler says no. Anyone else? Yes or no? Should the PLP be concerned? Yes or no? Should the PLP be concerned? And while you answer that, Larry, why do you say they shouldn't be concerned?
One thing, they still got the 32-6 majority in the House. And then secondly, I thought the split vote would be Senator Simmons and Sir John, but it was actually the split between the OBA voter base and Sir John. So I think if you take us Sir John out of the equation, I think many of those votes go to Mr. King, and it's the same margin of victory, I think, from before with Mr. Michael Dunkley. So at the end of the day, I think nothing really changed. So,
okay.
But I'll talk to my other point, when we get to the next part of the question. But
yeah. Suzanne Ingham says it's a strong OBA hold. No. I'll tell you why the PLP should be concerned. They ran hard in that constituency. Immediately following the 2020 election, there were murmurs that Mr. Dunkley would retire. The PLP want that constituency so bad. I mean, they were in overdrive. They had everyone pretty much that you can think of knocking and banging on doors trying to get people in there. And even if they knew they wouldn't win, they didn't even gain anything. That's the key right there. Should they be concerned? Hell yes. Because it's not about the 36. They measure, this is a measurement of what they can do in the next election. So while the OBA was expected to win this, finishing behind Sir John, who was expected to take votes from the OBA candidate, that is a travesty. And it is honestly, if the PLP can put their ego aside and understand that they're in trouble based on this, they could actually start delivering for the people?
But I don't think they are, because if you look at certain comments that were
No, they're
made,
not.
it doesn't even address
No.
that anything. It just talks, we take people to college, we've done this, and it's like
Yeah.
these people spoke resoundingly in the constituency, and
Hmm.
it was not in favor of your party. So to act like it is nothing, I
Hmm.
kind of get it. But an area of concern is, I don't know if this is island wide, and I take all your points made, and I think there's actually points. But I have a feeling that the people are going to focus on the legacy portion of the other party, or the OBA, I should say. And does it translate island wide?
Well, I take that. And again, measuring the Ben Smith, Misha, Babla, and then these are two OBA, incumbents, right?
Yeah.
So we have to take that into consideration. We also have to take into consideration the low voter turnout in by-elections, right? But I tell you what, keep in mind what happened 2012 was not that long ago in terms of politics. And I don't think an intelligent group of people would be as arrogant to think that that can't happen again. And so those who are left are very divided politically. But I think the PLP, they always say those who determine elections are the ones who are considered swing voters.
Yep.
Never forget, the PLP has dirty because OBA voters didn't show up in 2020. Because as I always tell you, those folks realize they don't need political power. They have economic power. They realize that the PLP, the supposedly black government when it comes to trying to win elections, right? They realize that, they're never going to help create a foundation to build a black bank or a black insurance company or a black, they're not going to do that. They're not going to help create an opportunity to build a black hotel. They're not going to do that. So they can have the politics. We have the economy. And that to me is the difference in terms of how two sides, or as they used to put it, you don't hear them using this terminology anymore, the two Bermudas operate.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on the by-election results? Malachi Troy says, if the PLP continue on this path, it means that an independent will win more votes than the PLP, the 40-ton gorilla in that area. And just as Jamel said, they touched each house about 5 times. Now, this brings to my next point, to Larry saying the rest of the island. You all keep trying to make me believe that canvassing and being on people's doorsteps matters. I think it did matter at one point. What I don't think matters is we have a more intelligent electorate now. And people don't care what you tell them. Like the PLP candidates out there saying about, what's it, Bridal Hill and doing this and picking up the trash and that. Folks, people are more concerned about the bigger picture. You've heard Roger on this show speak about education. You've heard people speak about the economy and the companies leaving. You can get on my doorstep and tell me all the great things you're doing. If that doesn't coincide to the issues impacting the way I'm able to live, tough cookie.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't call it a more intelligent base. I think it's times have changed, and no longer were you able to separate the person from party.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at one point you used to always hear, do you vote for the person or do you vote party? Whereas nowadays it is, you represent the government, you represent the opposition. And if you're not happy with either one, sorry, even though I may like you or this, that, and the other, because it doesn't come down to personalities or anything, or it shouldn't. But people are not separating the person from the party anymore.
I see your point. I see your point. Now, let's not let the One Bermuda Alliance out of the picture. They also should be. This is not a victory.
They should be very concerned.
This is not a victory. Let me be clear, OBA. This is not a victory. This says you have work to do. That a retired former premier, 89 years, can finish, and let me get my math right, 16 plus 9 is 25, right? 25 votes behind your candidate. A man who literally has only been back on the scene for 5 weeks. 5 weeks can finish that close.
Yeah.
Let me tell you who I believe wins in this by-election. You know who I really think the winner is in this by-election?
People.
The FDM and independent candidates.
Yes.
If I'm the FDM or someone who's considering running as an independent, I'm licking my chops. Because what Sir John did was he opened up that little box, right? And he's telling people, if you give people options, if you make them believe, they may vote for you. They may give you a chance. And I think the true winner in this is the FDM and those who can, because think about what people have said about Mark Bean. The biggest complaint about Mark Bean and the FDM, oh, they went missing. Sir John ain't been in politics since the 90s, 30 years.
But he has legacy, Jamal. I don't know.
Fair enough.
If he has legacy and he has UBP legacy in a no stronghold, which is the, at the end of the day, you trace it down to the UBP, whether they wouldn't like it, you say it or not, right? So he has that. I will agree with you. I would say the two major points was the performance by Sir John Swan, and then of course the low voter turnout. I think people just like that is a statement in itself also. So to your point though, I agree. The FD and strong independent candidates who have a plan, who have some pedigree behind them, can possibly definitely do inroads. And I think that's beneficial because people are, I think, tired of the two-pronged system that just seems to not be working in Bermuda.
Indeed. We have Linda Tucker. Again, audience, what are your thoughts on the by-election results last night? Let us know your thoughts. How are you feeling? Linda Tucker says, we need an independent in every area. Jackie Eves says, agreed, Jamal said that last night. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, on point. I tell you what, this is going to be interesting. And I stand by what I said about, man, I just lost my train of thought looking at this comment coming in by Burmy Girl. She said, Sir John also has credibility. Absolutely. I mean, in no means am I saying that Mark Bean and Sir John are 1-1. What I'm simply saying is that Sir John literally has said 5 weeks ago he was considering it and was able to finish only 25 votes from victory.
Yeah.
Only 25 votes.
Yeah, I agree.
That again, this should inspire. I know people may say, well, I mean, it's Sir John. That doesn't mean just anyone can do it. If an election's not called until next year, that gives a lot of people the opportunity to make themselves known.
Yeah. And I will say this. I think it makes these marginal constituencies that much more interesting.
You keep sounding very low, Larry. Just talk up a bit.
I think these marginal constituencies become that much more interesting now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. It's going to be interesting to see how the PLP responds to this. If they continue with the arrogance, that only benefits the people who no longer want to see them as a government. Jody Eves says, I totally agree, Jamal, and I truly wish more independents will come out. I truly think we would see where people stand. Indeed. Teresa Marie says, a wake-up call indeed. Ian Waddington says, Swan was simply making a point that the Westminster system has outlived its usefulness in Bermuda. I absolutely, look, let's be honest. Sir John, in my opinion, though he didn't win, he still did.
Yes.
He still did. The point really, and thank you for that, Mr. Wellington. His point was, okay, let me show folks, and look, we're here to agree to disagree, But I highly disagree with Mark Bean in that respect, that the problem's not the Westminster system. The hell it is. However, we can also, two things can be true. We can also admit that the people have no interest in getting rid of the system right now. So how can we best serve them while it exists?
Yeah. And look, we can't negate the fact of age when it came to Sir John's Horn, right?
Mhm.
And I just wonder now if you take some years off him, he does he win this seat?
Mm,
You have
mm,
to ask that question, which
mm.
then abides a strong independent candidate in marginal constituencies. Can they pull it off?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, again, there'll be a lot of people inspired by this. I'm sure Maya's got more information and details in her news break. But again, keep your comments coming, folks. What are your thoughts on the by-election results? I believe a few things. The PLP should be concerned. The One Bermuda Alliance should be concerned. The FDM and independents should be encouraged and inspired. And the people of Bermuda, I think they proved, no matter how hard you try to convince me that you're working for me, I'm just not feeling it. And I say that because you would know it's your constituency, Larry, as many others have said. The PLP have been going hard in that constituency for years. And this is the result. Let me be clear. This is not about Senator Lindsay Simmons. And even if you eliminate Sir John, she still wouldn't have came close to winning. This is about the leadership of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party and the way Bermudians feel based on their governing. Misha Fabulous says, would be interesting to have seen how a ranked voting approach would have played out differently, i.e. where voters get to rank their choices instead of only selecting one candidate. Or you think that the rankings would have changed as if Lindsay wouldn't have still ended up in third?
And not to, I'm really looking for understanding or asking for understanding. How would that help?
Well, I think what he's trying to say, and this is the PLP, like they may think Lindsay's a great person or a better candidate or so on, but she's tied to the party. At the end of the day, people are not separating. A vote for Lindsay Simmons is a vote for David Burt and the government. Larry mentioned that earlier about the separation, right? At the end of the day, I don't think she's a bad person. I don't think, Misha, you're a bad person. But as many people have said, we don't need more good people in the kind of politics that exists today. That's probably a concern people have. Richard Scott says the results reflect that there's a significant amount of people that are no longer tied to party politics. Indeed. Yeah. Misha Fabla said, not necessarily. I think it would have encouraged voters to take more of a chance from the historical voting trends. I think people are...
Yeah, the independent got came second. I think they did change, right? Historically, that doesn't normally happen.
Yeah. I mean, but again, it was Sir John. I mean, would another independent have done that? Again, he has credibility, you know. But again, they should be inspired. This should be a wake-up call, as Teresa Marie said. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour news break. She's probably got a lot more for us in that. Here we go. Oops.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How you feeling?
Feeling like a new day, I guess.
That is good. That's always good. MP, I was out last night and I saw the TDH chat group as votes were coming in and so on. And I think in vote the first what they call them, vote in block one or something. How they do it? First count. Yeah. Sorry. And first count. When I looked, I saw that Simmons had the most, and then two. I think she had the most too. Did she?
I think King took over.
But
it was very close.
It was, yeah. I was thinking, okay, Simmons is going to do it, and then in the end, she came dead last. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but one of the things that the PLP had traditionally done is try to get people to vote early. So I guess count one would have been those who went early. I don't know why that strategy works. I don't know if you guys know or can explain, but I felt it was humbling, or it should have been humbling the way it played out. To start, it's not how you start, how you finish. But I didn't get to see any of the videos or press, like what's those things called? Like how they, the candidates speak to the press. But I did see some things. So I don't know what you've got, Maya, but have you done anything like asking the Media Maya audience how they feel, or did they care about this by-election? Did people care enough?
Well, no, I haven't asked on my page enough how people feel about this election as it, and the results of yesterday. But, and I might do that later on today just to see, but I didn't even hear too much about it other than like my own reporting. And I know that Bermuda Youth Connect, they did the interviews of all 3 candidates beforehand. I think that happened on the 19th and the 20th. And I need to go back and even watch those, but obviously we know the results now. But yeah, it wasn't too much drummed up afterwards, or anyone asking me any questions about it, or wanting more coverage than there would be. But I'm sure most people will be very interested in seeing these results from today, and again discussing what it even means. But again, but it's also, you got to think about the timing when they place this. Bermuda Day is tomorrow. It's like to have it on the 22nd of May. It was just like when that came out, I was like, that's a very like busy time, and people are not focused on, people are focused on Bermuda Day, so that could also be like a reason maybe why people didn't come out, or why it wasn't on anyone's thought to even be mentioning or talking about it now. When Sir John Swan came out as he was going to run as an independent, sure, that jumped up a lot of attention. People were interested, but at this point down the line, you got a major holiday coming up.
But historically, that's a nonsense excuse, and I'll tell you why. In 2007, when the then Premier Ewart Brown called the election in December of 2007, Michael Dunkley, the opposition leader, said, "This is ridiculous. Why call an election during the holidays? People's minds are elsewhere. This is the busiest time of year outside of cotton match." Then in 2012, the Honorable Paula Cox did the same thing in December of 2012, and same thing. This is the busiest time of year. Why would you do that? In 2003, Dame Jennifer Smith did it a couple weeks before cotton match. 2017, after the America's Cup, Michael Dunkley did it a couple weeks before cotton match. So I don't think it has nothing to do with it. And Bermuda Day 2 days before,
that makes a difference. It makes a difference. That makes a difference. 2 days before, people were traveling 2 days to make it a long weekend. I think if it's 10 days before, even a week before, it makes a difference. But 2 days before the holiday, people's not. I think it makes a difference.
Bermuda Day is not that big when it comes to Christmas holiday, though. Christmas is shopping, it's traveling, it's school ending, and so on. The point is, it's always been done around a holiday.
But that wasn't a by-election. Those were general elections.
By-elections are traditionally not, the turnout's not that great anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm not dismissing it, saying it doesn't matter. I'm just simply saying those arguments have been made since 2003, since I've been following politics, about general elections.
But the difference, real quick, Maya, is it's like Maya said, there's no people asking questions or follow up. Like it's
Maya was the only person that seemed interested to me.
It seems like it's just not.
Bermuda Youth Connect as well. Bermuda Youth Connect.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, because of it's so close to the holiday, people's not. Whereas there's other examples you gave, it's national interest.
Well, I think we're overplaying the holiday simply for this reason. Okay. I don't think it's the holiday. I think people just are not interested.
Okay, I can.
That's my point. Yeah, I just feel like the holiday doesn't help. Is what I'll give you that. The holiday doesn't help, right? So I don't know. I'm always interested to see what Maya's Media Maya followers say, because I think their perspectives are most valid. Not to say ours are less valid, but these are the people the country is going to belong to. So I think, yeah, I'd like to know how they feel about it. No pressure, Maya, because it is a holiday, so they may not be interested in responding or talking.
I get you there. I do want to. You got me interested now to look back, because I remember reporting on here what when I did put up on Media Maya, like, oh, this is happening. Who do you think is going to win this seat? I'm curious. I'm just going to look back, see if I can find it fast enough for you guys, just to see what the results were, what people thought versus what happened. I know what happened is much different than the actual results. So bear with me as I get it to go on this spot. But let's start out by just saying that C10 had about 1,275 people who could vote, and only 574 actually showed up to vote yesterday. Now the results are now available on elections.gov.bm, and we mentioned them, but here they are for you to view right now. Just who won there, you saw it was Robert King, and then Sir John Swan, and then Lindsey Simmons popped up last. But again, you see that the results are so close. They're very close to each other. And this is just like sort of what happens, as Robert King said afterwards, when it comes to three people being in a by-election or even any election seat.
I'm not laughing at anyone in particular. I'm just laughing at how wrong I was, because I really thought, again, following the biasness of Jonathan Stalin, I thought that Sir John would give an opportunity to Lindsey Simmons, Senator Lindsey Simmons, not realizing, people just ain't feeling the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party to give them any more votes like that.
But I don't think she gets nearly as close as she can.
Right. You're right.
Without Sir John.
You're right, Larry. But again, because they had been look, again, folks, the PL, and I will challenge a PLP supporter right now. I will challenge them to tell me I'm wrong. They've been banging that constituency. They were showing up to houses 5 deep sometimes. Literally. I know this for a fact. You know what I'm saying? They went so hard. I would like to know how much time and resources they invested in that constituency to come dead last. I'm not going to say third. They came last. The PLP came last. I'm not putting that on Senator Lindsey Simmons. What you people say?
Well, I will say I found it right here that when I did talk about it, I put the polls up on Medium Maya. It was people thought that Sir John Swan was going to win by 65%, and then Lindsey Simmons by 25%, and then Robert King by 10%. So shows you there just how long. But in my report, I think you'll hear me say I was like, Robert King is going to be the one who's potentially most likely going to win this, because again, as much as they don't like to hear it, some politicians or even people in the world, but it is an OBA strong seat, and it means something. Let's go on to see what they actually said after the elections. I have a quick video here from Burn News. We didn't really get to hear much from them, so here's a video clip of each and every one of them saying what they had to say after the results were put in.
It's an incredible moment. I've had an incredible team behind me, supporting me, but more importantly, I have work to do now for constituency C10, and I've talked about that before. Right now, I'm extremely exhausted. I mean, it's, like I said, I need some new heart medication to speed, a heck of a journey. It was a tight race. Instead of having 2, you have 3. And like I said, all candidates were strong candidates. So when you have a race with 3 strong candidates, it's going to be close.
And what's the first thing you're going to do when you take up your seat in the House?
Well, I'm going to confer with these guys so they can basically show me the ropes in terms of how I'm supposed to act and basically what the process is. Like I said, right now, I'm just trying to let this sink in. That question in terms of, I'm not there yet. Right now, I'm in this moment.
You put a lot of work in.
I did.
Are you somewhat disappointed in the result?
I mean, obviously, I'm disappointed, but you know what it did show me? That although I did lose, I didn't lose by much, which means the work showed, and I will continue to do the work. And everybody behind me, the people that voted, my family, my friends, I'm going to continue to push for them because I believe in this party, and I believe that we're going to win this in the general election. This was just the start. King wants to say congratulations to him, but the general election is coming, and I'm coming to take it. So everybody, I'll be on your doorstep tomorrow.
How you feel?
Well, the voter has spoken in constituency 10, and I have having won many, many elections. First one I've actually lost. Disappointed? The answer is yes. But, at the same time, I brought forward to Bermuda an idea of having independent members and changing the system by which the service to the people and not to the parties.
Let me tell you what I have a problem with. I have a problem with Lindsey Simmons focusing on the party. That's why you're not going to win. While ever you do nice things and people may think you're nice, this ain't about the PLP. This is about Bermuda and the greater good of the community. The innocence of Mr. King also, I have to confer with these guys. Did you not know what the job was you signed up for? The only one that said anything that made any sense was Sir John. I'm sorry. That was tragic.
Did you note former PLP MP
Renee Webb.
behind Sir Juan?
That's what I was wondering. Was
I,
that
and no, I was talking about someone else.
who?
Commissioner.
Who?
Rolf Commissioner.
That was him. I thought that was Gerald Simons.
It was? Okay, all right. I
Was
could
it?
be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I am wrong. I'm sorry.
I looked like Renee Webb by him. I'm not sure if it was. Audience, you can let me know.
All right.
I can't even bring it up fast enough for you guys to see, but
Yeah.
but yeah.
Interesting though. Interesting. Their response. It was Rolf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Rolf. Oh, interesting.
All right.
Oh, I thought it was. They look alike. Oh, okay.
I could see why you make that.
Oh, was that Renee Webb as well? Was that the honorable Renee Webb in that? Anyway,
No.
you got other stuff to talk about. Sorry.
That's fine. You can watch that whole video clip, of course, on Bro News if you wish to. Again, those are just clippings that I took for the newscast. But meanwhile, an unusual collision occurred yesterday around 2:40 involving a single vehicle on Canal Road in Pembroke. So here's the image. Here, a container truck carrying a 40-foot container was traveling south on Canal Road when it came into contact with a large overhead beam and a retaining wall. So obviously causing a major damage to the wall and the truck. The driver of the truck was not reported to be injured. But yeah, this is what it is here. If you saw it or have anything to say to the police, again, you can always call 211. But that, yeah, very, very unusual.
Okay, so we saw like a trailer up on Harbor Road doing something. Obviously, are there like not signs that like these vehicles shouldn't go on certain roads?
There's normally height signs and like before you travel down. Yeah.
I heard one thing that made sense, and I hate to come if I heard because we don't know if it's fact, but I think when they fixed it, it was lowered. Because remember, this road was, and they was like, well, the trucks used to go there before, and no, it wasn't done. If that's not the case, I'm sorry. It's very frustrating that this road, we just got that area fixed.
Well, meanwhile, yesterday, another collision took place, and this time involving a young child. This collision was reported as a serious two-vehicle collision. It involved a motorcycle and a car. The collision occurred on North Shore Road near the junction with the Cable Hill in Devonshire. Now, apparently, the vehicles were traveling in opposite directions when the collision occurred, and the driver of the motor car was not reported to be injured. However, the female motorcyclist and her 7-year-old passenger were taken to the hospital for treatment of their injuries. Again, if anyone witnessed this collision, they're asked to call 211 at their earliest opportunity.
That's sad. Hopefully they make a speedy recovery.
Indeed. Yes. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, you probably do better than I would, back in the day when they used to talk about how safe Bermuda was. You could like leave your house, windows up, don't have to lock your doors, all of that. You remember those days?
I do.
Okay, somewhat. Well, don't do that. Police are advising everyone about how they have reported that 6 cars were recently reported stolen and all recovered with keys inside the vehicle. So they said during March 1st until May 22nd, the police received 6 reports of 6 different cars being stolen from outside 6 separate homes. Now, in each case, the vehicle was left parked with the keys inside and later recovered at a different location and intact, thankfully. And they say, while such incidents remain uncommon and are mostly preventable, these recent increases is cause for a renewed public advisory. So as a result, residents are once again encouraged to be vigilant about how they park and lock their cars. And some advice being, park in visible, well-lit areas, and obviously report a stolen vehicle promptly. And, unfortunately, these are things that consistently happen now. And they were saying that, you gotta just be a lot more mindful of your belongings in this sense.
I didn't think it was so normal to steal a car in Bermuda. Like, is it done for a thrill? Like, what? I don't get it.
Cars are, I have to look back at the reports to see if it's gotten an uptick. I mean, bikes are normally the norm, right? Like, it's so easy to just steal a bike in Bermuda, especially if you don't have the locks on it. And this summer, I beg, I plead, people with new bikes, especially young people in their 16, they're like, I don't want to lock because it looks ugly. Please get the lock for your bike. Please get the lock for your bike. You can't be playing around with that, especially in the summertime. Everyone's out riding and these things happen a lot over the summer too. So be mindful of that. But yeah, cars seems to be relatively new, but it's not like maybe in excessive amounts that's happening now, but it's not a brand new thing though. It's happened before. Yeah. And closing out, tomorrow is Bermuda Day, and they did post out the parade, participants, and there's a list there for you guys. You can screenshot it to view it later, but you can also find it on the culture website too. And live coverage of the Bermuda Day Parade will actually be carried out for those who cannot attend the parade or are not on island like me. And you could view that at 1:15 p.m. on the government's Facebook and YouTube pages as well. And I'm sure other places you'll be able to look and find it too. But there it is right there for tomorrow's events and festivities for Bermuda Day, which is pretty exciting. And closing out with our weather, today is looking like sunny periods, looking pretty good, a high of 79. But Friday, looking like it might be a little sprinkle or two, but it's going to be mostly sunny breaks. It says it might have a few showers. This is Friday that you're looking at right now for Bermuda Day, and a high of 78 will be the highest for the day, but hopefully it's not a long showery period.
All righty. Larry, you got some days of the year for us?
Yes, I do. Bermuda Day. Looked around for other things, but at the end of the day, today we are going to celebrate Bermuda Day early. So whatever you do, make sure you make it a Bermuda-ful day.
So we already know that your favorite part of Bermuda Day is the runners, right?
Yes, correct.
I want to know the audience, anyone out there, what are you looking forward to most tomorrow on Bermuda Day holiday? Maya, what are you looking forward to for tomorrow?
I guess I'll look forward to watching the parade on my TV, but if I was home, I'd be really looking forward to the gumbears with my grandma, and if my family's all together. Like, my grandma loves the gumbears, man, and she would move with them and grab us by the wrist and really strong grip and pull us with those gumbears. So yeah, I'll miss that.
Larry, you looking forward to the runners?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the runners every year. I just want to see, and anybody who's out there, first time people, take your time. Do not get excited because it's a long way to go.
Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to just watching the different floats and the different troops, Dynamic City Rockettes coming back. Want to see what they're up to. H&H at the end of the parade, so they'll have me sticking around watching all day, but just watching Bermudians celebrate on social media, sharing their special moments with friends and family over the holiday. But the runners, I'll be up from the runners. Looking forward to doing my best to follow the riders as well. Anika D. Shields says, all of it, Bermuda Day. Seeing majorettes, especially PHC says, Hadley and Swan, rest runners because I can't run, says Susan England. All right. Maya, thank you so much. Have yourself a wonderful long weekend. We'll see you back here on Tuesday.
See you on Tuesday.
All right, Maya Palacio, folks. Audience, don't go anywhere. We will continue the conversation. We've got Dr. Amani Flood coming up for Ask the Doctor, and you want to be a part of this conversation. Why? Because it's summertime. And as I told you earlier, when your doctor asks, so you've been eating your greens and salads? Potato salad is not one of them. All right? Stick around for the conversation. In the meantime, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We'll be back in 2 minutes, 27 seconds with Dr. Amani Flood.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
It took 14 days to build your business plan. 6 months to build the courage to leave your day job. 3 weeks to find the perfect location. It took 10 days to outfit your space just right. And 1 day before your first client walked in the door. All totaled, it took you a full year to get your business operational. And this is just the beginning. To the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, the people that shape our economic community. We salute you and are here for you every step of the way. BEDC, providing knowledgeable, progressive, professional, and innovative support to Bermuda businesses.
Summer is almost here. Dive into the season with dog floats and dog pools. Enjoy 20% off West Paula's dog floating toys and shop our life jackets for safety in the water this summer. Get all your summer needs before the holidays and events begin. Don't forget to stock up on poo bags and check out Dicky Bags, the poo bag holder that locks in the smell until you can dispose of it. Remember, even dogs need sunblock, so visit Noah's Ark today, Bermuda's most trusted animal supply store, for all your summer essentials, and ask us about our rewards program.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Larry Marshall Jr. I am Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, is Ask the Doctor. Get your questions ready for Dr. Amani Flood. We're going to be talking about, monitoring our sugar levels, especially as we enter our favorite eating time of the year outside of Christmas, the entire summer season. All right, let's give a warm TDH welcome and welcome back, Dr. Amani Flood. Calm down. Dr. Flood, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you, Jamel?
I'm good. Are you, before we get into it, are you running tomorrow?
Am I running tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is that what you asked me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, all right. So it's not just me. All right, that's cool. It's not just me. Well, Dr. Flood, thank you for joining us. Thank
I'm
you
running to my spot before somebody else gets it. I'm going to run there.
Right.
See, then there is some running taking place, just not the half marathon derby. There you go. Dr. Flood, we're talking about sugar levels today, and as I said earlier, this is a time when you're going to see a lot of people with their plates tomorrow at the parade, and their fried chicken and potato salad and their sugary drinks and the like. Yeah. You might have a lot of clients after tomorrow, but we're talking about sugar levels. Why is it so important for our sugar levels to monitor them as we age?
Well, it's said that Bermudians love to drink, and I'm going to add to that another stanza. Bermudians love sugar. But it doesn't love us back. And when you think about the fact that our senior population is one of the fastest growing populations, both here in Bermuda and worldwide, and so many families are impacted by caring for their senior loved ones, and that's particularly difficult when that loved one has a lot of, health conditions and chronic diseases. And because all the research points to sugar as a strong causative factor in the formulation, continuation, and exacerbation of almost every chronic disease, it just makes sense to try to tackle it at its root. And as a naturopathic doctor, that's what we do. We search for the root cause of illness and we practice prevention.
Dr. Flood, we're just having some audio challenges. It's a bit of buzz, and then you're coming through very low. That's wasn't happening when we did the check earlier. So I don't know if something changed, but it's coming through very low, and there's a buzzing noise coming from your end.
I don't know. Is this better if I sit closer to the screen?
It's still low, and then it's got this buzzing noise like a boat or a car. That is something.
Could it be my laptop? I turned on my laptop.
Were you on that when we did the quality check?
I was not.
Okay, so that's the problem.
All right, so there go my notes, but that's okay. I'm going to make it work anyway.
No problem.
And turn it off.
All right. No.
But in the meantime, can I just say quickly, you had a comment about whether or not, can you hear this part?
Yeah, it's really buzzed. It's really, what we can do is, I would say leave the studio and then come back.
I just took myself off internet. Did it stop?
No, it's still a buzz noise.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
You can leave and then come back. Leave the studio and then come back.
Leave the studio. Okay, bring me back. Don't leave me out here.
All right, no problem. All right, sorry about that, audience. We do quality checks before the show to ensure that the quality is a certain level. We understand, Anika. Yeah, what we don't want to do is have Dr. Flood sharing such important information and you all not being able to properly hear it or directly engage. So once we fix that, we'll be back into the conversation. But something she said just now, Larry, in regards to sugar levels is we love sugar. It doesn't love us back, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's such a timely conversation because 2 weeks ago, I kind of was like, all right, I'm not adding no added sugars and cutting down a good bit of my wheat. So I've noticed a difference, which I know you would, but it's just monitoring and manage it versus, acting like it's not there. So it's such a timely conversation for me.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. All right, let's bring Dr. Flood back in. Let's see. Hi, Dr. Flood.
Hi, gang.
You sound louder. This buzz is still there, but we can work with this, Dr. Flood.
I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. It happens.
You have no idea how difficult this morning was. The devil is a liar. I almost didn't make it, and so sometimes it's a little dribbling.
You need to hear this information right before the first holiday of the season. So no, we're sorry, but you were saying something before you went off just now. You wanted to say something.
Well, yeah, I was just saying that sugar is implicated in so many of the health conditions that primarily affect our seniors, these chronic, long-standing, debilitating illnesses such as diabetes, heart disease, elevated cholesterol, arterial disease, overweight, obesity, inflammation, pain, and so if we can go ahead and cut that off at its root cause, and help prevent that as we enter the senior years, and even if we did not do it early, we can still start now to help seniors avoid what are really their most challenging health problems.
Yeah, and you've said this on this show before, that if we tackle things while we're young, it makes it easier as we age. But I think we're challenged, Dr. Flood, is what are some early signs or symptoms of high blood sugar levels that people should be aware of?
Well, thank you for that question. There's always a loud conversation about diabetes, and particularly type 2 diabetes in Bermuda. That is the type of diabetes that is caused by and impacted by what we eat, our diet. And so, without going into too much detail, I didn't really prepare to talk about diabetes per se, but one may experience excessive thirst, excessive urination, fatigue, wounds that won't heal. There are a number of small and more prominent symptoms that can indicate diabetes, and really people should be tested regularly for the onset of type 2 diabetes. It's a simple test, it's inexpensive, even if you're not insured. Most people can't afford to visit a doctor, visit a clinic and say, hey, can you test me for diabetes? It's prominent in my family. I'm feeling a certain kind of way. I heard this, on a talk show, read it on Google or whatever, and have yourself tested for diabetes. But when it comes to sugar, it's not just diabetes that it affects. As I said, sugar, and here we're talking about excess consumption of refined white sugar. I want to be clear, there are a lot of sweeteners in this world. Sugar is a predominant sweetener that some research shows is found in up to 70 or 80% of all the foods in the supermarket. Can you imagine that? There are hidden sugars. All sugars don't taste sweet. All sugars are not evident as you look at that product, as you look at ketchup or even things like sauces and just bread and pizza dough, pizza sauce. I mean, places where you would not even expect to find sugar, bang, there it is.
That's so interesting because we only think of sugar like when it comes to like sodas or juices, and we don't consider it. And like you said, the breads and stuff, because you don't taste that sweetness, right?
That's right. In fact, in most starchy foods, which digest into sugars along the digestive tract, and the body sees them, perceives them, processes them as sugars, they don't taste sweet at all. And how many people are carb addicts? The bread is always the first thing on the table. It's present in so many different products and part of the meal, wraps, and all these things that appear to be healthy, but they're carrying hidden sugars all the while.
Yeah. So as we age, how do our sugar levels change?
Well, the sugar level is going to be dependent on, number one, your health condition. If someone has type 1 or type 2 diabetes, they're always going to be struggling with excess sugar because their body cannot process sugar. Their insulin is not working the way that it should, and they simply cannot process the sugar. So sugar is a very foreign and dangerous thing as if it's left circulating in the bloodstream. Sugar is a source of energy. Glucose is what we call it in science. And the body uses glucose as its fuel, a source of energy for our cells. But if it's suspended in the bloodstream and cannot make it into the cells due to a lack of insulin, then we have a problem because it's very damaging to our blood cells, to our bloodstream, to our blood, circulating bloodstream.
Interesting.
So as we age, we're less active, right? Yep. Activity is one way that we burn off the sugar that we consume. Seniors are less active. Many seniors are inactive. And when we give them sugar and they just don't have any way of really burning that off. Not only that, but as we age, the problems of aging, as I said, let's just look at inflammation and pain, joint pain, for example, arthritic types of pains. Inflammation is at the root cause of that pain. Inflammation is a body's natural response to injury. So here we are with an injured joint, a swollen joint, we can't move, the hands don't work properly, the knees, the ankles, all of the areas that seniors find, problematic, and then they're having sugar and making that problem worse because it does cause inflammation. It does damage blood vessels. So here they are with high cholesterol, with potentially arterial plaques, the buildup of cholesterol, slowing down the flow of blood in the bloodstream, and then they're having sugar, which only adds astronomically to that problem. Let's talk about brain and cognitive function. Sugar impairs thinking. We see this when children are eating sugar and all of a sudden they turn into bouncing balls and running around the room. Well, the same thing happens in the brain of a senior who's overdosed on sugar as well. That cognitive decline that they may naturally be experiencing is only going to be made worse. Fatigue. Sugar drains us. First, it gives you this jolt of artificial energy. And we're talking here excess refined white, okay? It is an empty calorie. There are no nutrients in it. And I wanted to mention that sugar, it can really be considered a drug more so than a food. It has the same addictive quality as a drug. People begin to eat it. They find it difficult to stop. They overconsume much more than they want. They just keep reaching for that next Hershey kiss or whatever.
Yeah. So with that being said, you said a lot there. How often should older adults get their blood sugar levels checked?
Oh, every older adult should be hopefully under the care of their private physician, who's going to be the best person to know how frequently they need to be checked. If someone is controlled, I'm going to give you some blanket sort of standard examples. Let's take the type 2 diabetic. They're generally having their one of their sugar markers called the hemoglobin A1C, HbA1c. They're having that checked probably at least about every third month until at least they reach a healthy number, and then they may be able to have it checked less frequently. If a type 2 or type 1 diabetic is also managing themselves at home and testing their sugar, which they absolutely should be doing, then they may be testing their sugar every day or several times a day, right? So a lot of it depends on where you are. And here at North Shore Medical, we do type 2 diabetes reversal. And when we manage to get our type 2 diabetics to present in their blood testing as if they did not have diabetes with healthy blood sugar numbers, then we may not test them for 6 months.
Interesting.
So it's really very patient specific, and I don't want to, give it some information that may lead one person to say, oh, I don't have to go now. If you're an uncontrolled type 1 or type 2 diabetic, you're going to be testing your blood sugar quite frequently until you get that under control.
Okay. So how do other health conditions like hypertension or heart disease interact with blood sugar levels in adults?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, because sugar is inflammatory and damaging to the bloodstream, that's going to include damage to the many, many arteries that are found in our heart, right? And so that inflammation, and in technical terms, it causes scarring to the internal areas of that bloodstream, which is a tubular organ, right? When the scarring occurs, cholesterol plaques are more prone to develop along that scar line. And so then as it accumulates, if the person has an elevated cholesterol, that is going to potentially lead to the formation of an actual clog. And then you are looking at stroke, heart attack, or arterial blockages to other organs of the body. Internal organs, the blood cannot flow in. Where there's no blood, there's no oxygen. Where there's no oxygen, there's no life. So that's how serious it is.
All right, audience, if you have any questions or comments for Dr. Flood, please send them through. But Dr. Flood, I've heard some stuff, and you can help tell me if I'm wrong. I heard there's some tips and tricks to kind of, enjoy stuff, but cut the sugar down. Is it true that if you sprinkle cinnamon in sugary stuff, it cuts back on the sugar?
No.
So I was told a fib.
Here's a tip and a trick. So cinnamon, first of all, it is one of the food and herbal plant products that does help manage blood sugar. It has a property of lowering blood sugar. So cinnamon is one of many, many nutrients that can be used to help manage blood sugar. And as I said, there really are a number of them. And so using that, and guess what else? Sugar actually has a little sweetness of its own, so it may help. I love cinnamon sprinkled on apples, and you can make an apple pie with just the apples and cinnamon. Without sugar. Because as the apples cook down, they yield even more sweetness, natural sweetness now. But here's a tip that you can use: having fiber, fat, or protein with your sugary food can help slow its release into your bloodstream from the stomach in digestion. So having a spoonful of plain white sugar, it's going to hit your bloodstream in moments, in minutes, literally into the stomach, into the bloodstream, causing what we call an insulin spike, a quick dump, a rapid dump of a lot of insulin into your bloodstream. And insulin is also harmful as it circulates through our bodies. It's also helpful and harmful, right? We're talking moderation here and appropriate use of these things. So having some fat and particularly having some fiber. So for example, when we eat fruit is loaded with naturally occurring fiber. It may have a commensurate amount of sugar in it than a bun or a small cupcake or something, but that fiber that is present in the fruit is going to help slow the release of sugar so that you have a more steady release of that sugar and a more steady release of your insulin into the bloodstream to manage that sugar.
Oh, interesting. Audience, we'll get to you in a second. That is also interesting, because I was going to actually just answer, like, some people say be careful of sugary fruits, right?
I'm going to tell you another tip that I hear a lot that is also false. People say, well, I added water to that can of soda before I drank it or as I drank it. So you still consume the whole amount of soda, but you added some water. That doesn't reduce the amount of sugar in the soda, boo.
Yeah, Dawn, she's asking, does water intake lower the blood sugar level?
No, not at all. I mean, being dehydrated and not having enough circulating water in your system is going to make everything worse, including your sugar consumption, including how fast that sugar might spike your insulin. It's much better to be well hydrated, but before you consume the sugar, not as a part of eating the sugar.
I always find it fascinating, because I became like this probably like 12 years ago. You'd go to somewhere for lunch in Bermuda, and you'd buy your lunch, and then you'd always pick up, and I'm not going to name brands, but a juice. And it wasn't until I was an adult I started looking at the sugars on these juices, and you see how normal it is in Bermuda. I'm nosy now, so I would look to see what drink people are picking up, and I'm just like, do they know this has like 30, 40, 50 grams of sugar in it, and how bad that is, right? It's not an easy habit to change, because, as you said, sugar, it's an addiction, right? What are some steps, especially, again, we're going into summer. A lot of people have gone from a lot of the hard liquors, right, especially daytime, to these sweet alcoholic beverages, right? Thinking that, it's tastes better and the like. what can we do to kind of reduce that? Like, how can we encourage people, you know what, just have one or share it with somebody, you know?
It's a double whammy with the effect of the alcohol added to the effect of the sugar. It's really a 1-2 punch when it comes to these sweet alcoholic beverages. And the industry is reaching out to younger and younger people to capture younger and younger drinkers with these sugary alcoholic drinks. Another pet peeve of mine is Bermuda Drink. This is that mixture of sweetened powdered Kool-Aid, and then you add some ginger beer to that, and let's throw in some pineapple juice for good measure, and and then a lot of people add sugar to that, and then we're serving that at church functions and children's parties, and people are gobbling this stuff down. It's so unhealthy. Please, let's change that, Bermuda. Let's use some sparkling water with some juice added to it, and let's feed our loved ones something that is not going to contribute to their early demise.
Yeah. You know what? I saw something on Instagram, and I don't really watch that, but someone sent it to me. Maybe it's my partner Keitha, and it was a way to make your own ginger ale, right? So you blend your ginger, like in your blender, you put the ginger in there, then you strain the ginger into a glass or container or whatnot. Then you add sparkling water and then a squeeze of lemon. And you pretty much have a good tasting pure ginger drink without any loaded sugar.
That sounds really, really delicious. And I don't want to leave without saying there are some better sweeteners than plain refined white sugar, which tops the list of baddies. Actually, there's another sugar called fructose, which is actually a little less, even less healthy than plain sugar, but less often used in our baking. It's a food industry sugar. But there is a sugar. There's of course stevia, which is a naturally produced sugar from a tiny little plant whose leaves are very, very sweet, and you're finding that in a lot more products. There's also monk fruit. People are familiar with that. Some of these other sugars do not increase your glucose burden in the bloodstream, and so they're better for those who are monitoring their sugar for health reasons, but they also can be rather tasty. There's one called xylitol, which is actually also very good to prevent cavities in your teeth instead of causing cavities like sugar does. So, there's a lot going on that's helping us move away from sugar, because worldwide it's quite accepted that sugar is super dangerous. It's consumed by the pounds and pounds and pounds. Like research shows that people are eating on average, like 20 pounds or 40 pounds of sugar a year. I mean, it's absolutely mad. You find in a lot of countries now. When we were recently in England, you really can't buy sugar-loaded drinks. They literally do not sell them. Yeah, I think it's actually against the law. So the same beverage that you'll pick up on this side of the world that will contain, let's do the sugar math. Every teaspoon is 4 grams. So you're looking at a soda having, 20, 30 grams or 40 grams of sugar. That's 10 spoonfuls of sugar, much more than you would add at the table. But theirs might have only 20, half that much. But the only problem is they're using artificial sweeteners, which unfortunately are no better for our health in the long run.
So right now we're entering summer day camp season. And one of the things I just remember going to summer day camps is my mother didn't allow us to have like drink boxes or juice boxes, whatever they call them. Like we just couldn't. As a child, I just felt we couldn't have fun. But how important is it, for parents to, like, remove the juice box and give them water or, stuff like that? What advice would you give parents who are, sending their children to camps? It's hot in Bermuda. They're going to be out doing activities, swimming and the like.
You said it. You said two really important things. One is, remove the juice box and replace it with water. It's a little more difficult because there aren't any boxed waters. There was one company that started a box water. I don't know, it didn't become a small one, so it didn't take off the way you would hope. But get your child a thermos or refillable container, and it's hot. fill that bad boy with water and tell them, I want this to be finished by the time you come home. But learning to drink water over sugary drinks takes place early in life, and it takes place at home. So children are not hydrated by juice. Juice and drinks do not hydrate. They are marketed as rehydration beverages, but they actually cause more thirst. A lot of sodas and packaged, a lot of canned sodas have salt, have sodium, which makes you thirstier. Remember, the industry just wants you to buy more drink. So, water is the only real thirst quencher, folks. So drink more water, and the taste for water. There are these wonderful sparkling waters on the market today that have the essence of the taste of fruit. Grab that, throw a little spoonful of honey in it if you need to just put enough for them to drink. The more sugar you eat, the more you want. It's an increasing desire as you eat it. So people work their way up to being able to eat a lot of sugar and feel like that's normal. And the same way you can tamper it down by putting yourself on some kind of a sugar detox. We have one, so people can come and chat with me about one that we've used very successfully to help people detox from overeating sugar.
All right, got a few questions from the audience. Want to get through them. Larry, you had something?
No, I was just saying, thankfully, a lot of these summer day camps adopted this, and you can only bring water and not
adopted what?
Yeah,
adopted the policy from the schools, and you cannot bring juice boxes or juices. You can only bring water
with sugar, and they even if they say no sugar added, the industry trick is they can dehydrate and concentrate the juice, making it sweeter by removing some of the water and not adding sugar.
Interesting. I want to get through these next few questions, Dr. Flood. We've got quite a few from the audience. Nathan, she's asking, what about ginger? Does this combat sugar intake? It's good for the digestive system, but is it combative against sugar?
No. The body is very good at doing what it does, which is finding particular molecules and treating them the way that it treats them. So when you consume sugar, your body is going to do its thing. There is only one way to manage sugar, and that is through insulin.
All right. We've got Anika DeShields is asking, is coconut sugar better than white sugar or the same?
That's an excellent question. Coconut sugar, I didn't really do my research. Some naturally occurring sugars have a little bit of mineral in them, and that might make them a little healthier than refined white sugar, which has none. But it doesn't change their sugar content. And products are different. The industry is breeding, hybridizing coconut to create a very, very sweet coconut to use for coconut milk, water, and coconut products in order to have naturally enhanced sugar content. So you really just have to become familiar with reading the label on any package that you have and see if you can determine, that sugar math of 4 grams per teaspoon.
All righty. Dr. Flood, they don't want to let you go, but I'm just going to ask you 2 more questions because I know we've got to go. Stacey Ann Brown asking, are dates a good substitute for sugar?
Once again, good question. It depends. Yes, in the sense that a date is a true food, unprocessed whole food. It has natural sweetness. It has some fiber occurring, and it is not going to spike insulin the same way. There's a scientific difference between naturally occurring sugars and refined sugar. It's something called spin. Technically, this is the way the molecule is moving and how your body responds to the way that molecule is moving. And that does make natural sugars safer than refined sugars, except for the diabetic person. The person who is on sugar management must take note of every kind of sugar they consume, and they must count it amongst their sugar quota.
All righty.
Sugar much better for children. Like if you make muffins or something, sweeten them with ground dates for the children, and that's an excellent idea. Even your smoothies, that's an excellent idea.
Okay, Dr. Flood, tell people how they can get in touch with you to learn more, and also maybe for a consultation to come by, because one thing everyone who knows about you knows is you help people help themselves. So how can they get in touch and reach out to you?
Thank you for saying that. Come on and see me at North Shore Medical at 7 North Shore Road in Devonshire. Our number is 293-5476. We are on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We have a wonderful department of marketing who make sure that we are available. You can find us. We have YouTube, and we're expanding to add a lot more to our website, our naturopathic wellness website. Please go on to NMAC, North Shore Medical Aesthetic Center, nmac.pm, and you can navigate over to the wellness website. And we're going to be adding content on a regular basis with a lot of helpful information for people. But come and see me. We sit down and have a really long talk about what all of your health concerns, conditions. We have a new product called the Executive Naturopathic Wellness, which is a really, really thorough examination of your health status and setting up goals and how to reach them. So I'd love to see you.
All righty. As Cheryl Peak Bowl says, bravo, Dr. Amani Flood, helping people help themselves. Absolutely. I agree. And I remember, you know, my mom came to you, and when they called me after, and I've never been a milk drinker. Like I remember the milk, you know, the milk commercials with the mustache and milk does a body good, and I just didn't understand it, right? And I remember my sister calling me and said, Dr. Flood said, you know, no, you shouldn't be drinking milk with your cereal because of the mucus, and you broke it down and whatever, because my mom, you know, had cancer and lung cancer. And I said, we went through a generation where it was promoted like the best thing ever. And now we have people who have done such research who are educating us a bit more on it. So I appreciate it that, you know, it changes lives. And the more we understand, you know, something I had to get myself to understand, you know, everyone who knows me knows I'm a French fry and potato chip guy, right? So what do? Discipline. I don't keep fries in my house, right?
There you go.
So you just, that's a way to do it. Now, I can't tell the restaurants to take it out when I'm visiting, but you know that. But you know, you make the changes of things you can control. So I appreciate you, Dr. Flood. Always love having you on. There's so many different things we can discuss. Thank you for being a trooper and, you know, kind of switching up based on the conversation this morning, right last minute. And please do enjoy your holiday, and looking forward to the next great conversation with you.
Happy Bermuda Day to everyone. Shout out to my hubby. Mwah. Happy birthday, babies, for this next week. And shout out to our whole NMAC team. Our teamwork makes our dream work, and we really all love what we do, and we look forward to seeing you. Happy birthday. Don't take my spot.
See you soon, Dr. Dr. Amani. Folks, if you appreciated that conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Gotta love Dr. Flood. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, final break. Oh, we have to do a giveaway today as well. So we're going to 55 seconds. Give us 55 seconds. We'll be back. But in the meantime, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. You've got the daily play. See if someone can beat Larry to this. I think you have a chance. Stick with us.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Pair with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear. You can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Dr. Amani Flood and the great folks at NMAC for that segment of Ask the Doctor. We're going to do a hashtag giveaway as well, folks. This is to give another person a chance. But before that, thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Larry, it's the name of that place. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you guessed the answer before Larry, folks, you will be eligible for to be entered into the draw. All right. Here we go. Name that place. Which country's capital is Tripoli?
Sicily. Sicily? It's not a country. Tripoli?
Which country's capital is Tripoli?
Africa. Korea.
Jonah got Libya. It's Libya. It's Libya. Yeah, Jonah. Let's write your name down, Jonah. Jonah is into his house, and we're gonna
Tripoli.
we're gonna add one more person to the draw. Hashtag the Daily Hour. Okay, Stacey Ann got Libya, Sheldon Fox got Libya, Renee Simmons got Libya. We're gonna do the day. So while Larry and I wrap it up, you can hashtag the Daily Hour. Put hashtag the Daily Hour. You can be the final person to enter this week's draw, along with Stacey, Sheldon, and Jonah. All right. But Larry, final thoughts on today's discussion. Obviously, the politics and the by-election, and then the conversation with Dr. Flood.
The by-election, it was a bit more surprising, than I thought. I thought King would win. I think I still ain't. I'm not over in the picture that we saw, or the video that we saw with Sir John with the 2 former PLP MPs behind him in his camp. That's very interesting to me. Sugar. What I found interesting is she said, "We like it, but it doesn't like us back." And making smart choices and helping, as you're younger, will do better. And then also making the shift, even if you are older. So definitely a great conversation. And the more information we have, the better we are to equip ourselves moving forward.
Yeah, indeed. And anything on Bermuda Day, real quickly?
As we said earlier, just happy Bermuda Day. We wish that everyone's safe. Shout out to every participant in every aspect of Bermuda Day, including the spectators. But in particularly, shout out to the runners who are doing the full marathon and the relay. But I just want everyone to be safe and enjoy the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, give the relayers some shout out. That's gonna be me. That'll be me. All right. I'll say this much. I think, as I said earlier, the by-election results tell a story in themselves. I think the PLP should be concerned. I think that the OBA should be concerned. And I think the FDM and those who are considering running as independent should feel inspired. I do believe that people traditionally, as the numbers would show, don't show up for by-elections. But I don't think it's anything to celebrate, even in victory or in loss in this case. I think this is something to really show that people no longer want to hear about what you're doing for them. They want to feel what you're doing for them. In reference to the conversation with Dr. Flood, again, I can't say it enough. I enjoy the conversations with her. She's given us information. Yeah, sugar, as you just said, Larry, we love it, but it doesn't love us back. I'd encourage all of us. I'm not an expert, and I love junk food, right? I have my own challenges, but when you get someone who's giving you information to help you help yourself, take it, use it for what it's worth. Use it for what it's worth. Trust me. All right, so let's do this giveaway. Let's see who it's going to be. All right, let's do a drum roll. Who's going to be the final name in the draw? Who's it going to be? All right, let me get prepared to. All right, Marquita Lee. Don't laugh at the live. This is live, folks. Marquita. All right, here we go. Going in the draw. All right, thank you, Marquita. You've been a good sport. All right, let's do this. Let's shake it up. See who's going to be this week's winner.
Still got the red cup.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm getting rid of the red cup, but it just won't go anywhere. All right, who's it going to be? Paper's a bit thicker today, folks. Jonah, congratulations. I think this is your first time winning, Jonah. So, Jonah, you please send an email to engage@thedailyhour.com to collect your winnings. Jonah, congratulations to you. And folks, well, Larry, you have some daily inspiration for everyone as we set out for the holiday.
I do. Loyalty to country always, to government when it deserves it.
Who said that?
Mark Twain.
Man. Woo. I know the audience appreciates that one. But folks, look, I just want to say this. As Bermudians set out to enjoy another Bermuda Day holiday, let us embrace like each other with like love and respect, and let our hearts be filled with a spirit of togetherness as we celebrate our diverse and colorful culture. Whether you're supporting the riders in the Sinclair Packwood Memorial Race or the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby runners, or even just the participants in the Bermuda Day Parade, let us remember one thing. It's our heritage that we're celebrating. It's what defines us. It gives us that sense of community that has made us a strong and special people. So happy Bermuda Day to everyone. And don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Wells, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we were to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Tuesday. All right? On Tuesday. Thanks for sticking around with us today. Larry Marshall Jr., I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great holiday weekend. We'll see you back here next week.